Happening out there on the track at the moment because the race was stopped at 6:15 this morning for heavy rain. To restart the race, the rain happening during the evening, and dramatic stuff it is too. When we left it last night, remember, the factory Suzuki ridden by Terry Reimer, Doug Poland and Peter Goddard was leading the race. 1 minute to go then before the restart of the 1996 Bol d'Or. They're going to get back underway, I assume. By the way the bikes are lining up, it's going to be another four. Well, we'll be back after a short commercial break with action from the start. And there it goes, the race is back on. So the race is back on. In fact, we've abandoned the commercial break because the Bol d'Or restarts. It gets back underway. The factory Suzuki, in case you were wondering, after that 10-minute stop, had come back up into 4th place. But it is the Honda that leads. Alex Vieira, Christian Lavier and William Cost. And the factory Suzuki 5 laps behind throughout the night with that torrential rain. Yet another stoppage due to the torrential rain, and the race has only now just got underway at a fraction after 9:15. Out there on the track, the green flag. Well, there is the general classification. It looks to me as if the information that I'd got from the Paul Ricard, there's a red flag there certainly. But there doesn't look like there's an awful lot of panic, so that was obviously some sort of warm-up or extra bit of practice. Well, nobody tells me anything. So they've had a couple of laps of practice. What you were seeing just a few moments ago wasn't the start after all. We all got terribly excited here, thinking that that's what we were seeing. But in actual fact, only on a running clock. So we'll be back at 11:05 Central European time. That's 10:05 in the UK, where we'll bring you right up to date with all that's happening in the Bol d'Or. 40 in the UK. Other highlights during the day. Keep your eyes skinned on a great day's motorsport here on Eurosport. We've got Formula One in just a few moments, but we'll be back later with all the best of the action on a dramatic Bol d'Or 1996.
The race is interrupted once more during the 5 hours of race.
Well, after a stoppage of some 2 hours and 10 minutes, the race was due to get back underway at 09:30 on a much brighter and a much more promising looking Sunday morning. And the race is underway. Terry Reimer not in contention though. They've gone out. And at that time the factory Honda was leading. This was the way things were at the restart, and as you can see, still a lot of water on that Paul Ricard circuit. The two Suzukis are back in the action, but it's Alex Vieira, Laviel and William Cost, I should say, on the factory Honda, who are leading this race, to identify that it wasn't actually Jim Whittam that restarted this race this morning. So sorry to you, Jackie, but glad to see you paying attention anyway. We'll try and do better next time, but I hope you enjoy the rest.
In darkness, the number 2 Suzuki lost the lead because of a mechanical incident in the pits. The Honda number 3 bike is now leading the race. So at 9:30 in the morning, it's a 3rd start for the Bol d'Or. And in the opening laps, it's the
change of rider in the Yamaha squad. And let me recap that. The true situation is that the factory Suzuki, being ridden by Doug Poland, Peter Goddard and Terry Reimer, has not gone out of the race, but it has lost 18 minutes in the pits. and that is what has put it down the order. Meanwhile, the other factory Suzuki comes in. Damon Buckmaster climbs back aboard, and out into the fray it goes. Through the chicane at the end of the pit lane and back out onto the track. So just to confirm, that was a problem with the rear wheel spindle. It was replaced. There was an incident which resulted in a broken RC45 works bike. It's lovely to watch a bloke work, isn't it? Lavier it is that leads, and you can see what the condition is like. 386 laps after 14 hours. Honda, Suzuki and Yamaha, the 1, 2, 3. Heading down the Mistral Straight. Head down, a lot of time to make up. But going about it in exactly the right fashion, and that's Terry Reimer again, I think, on the number 2 bike. Indeed it is. Reimer, a very impressive showing in this race. None of the riders like riding in the wet if they can help it, but doesn't seem to matter too much to Terry Reimer. That's Christian Lavier aboard the leading Works Honda out front. 395 laps. This is after 14 hours and 38 minutes. Coutel, the only man that could catch or equal at least Brian Morrison as far as the points table goes. He crashed during the night, and that put him way back. Also out of the race for news for the supporters of the British Phase 1 team. They're out of the race with a broken engine, or what's described on the official list as a broken engine. We also have news too that James Whittam crashed the factory Yamaha during the night at the end of the Mistral Straight, but was not hurt in the incident, and the bike obviously back into the race and currently lying in 3rd place, albeit 4 laps down. So I know that Jackie Healy and pals in Yorkshire, friends of Jim Whittam, but the news that we have is that he's perfectly okay. To the number 15 Works Suzuki, and only 395 to the other factory Suzuki of Goddard, Reimer and Poland. And into the pits for a change of rider comes the Works Honda. Let's just have a look at how slick this fuel stop, change for tyres and a change of rider is. The rider keeping in the garage until he needs to come out. Cristiano gets off, the front wheel is out. Well, not bad, was it? Alex Vieira, the man who has taken over aboard that Honda, takes a quick look behind him, being victorious in this 1996 Vol d'Or. Into the pits comes the Works Yamaha. The Works Yamaha with Jean-Marc Delaton in the saddle at the moment. Cruising slowly down pit lane. Definitely doesn't need a stop-go penalty at this stage. They're already, again, yet another well-drilled factory team. Delaton staying aboard, but he's going to have a change of crash helmet. The crash helmet is changed so that he can have a clear view, nice and clean. He wants it taped up so that no rain can get down the slot. Everything's all changed and back out into the race. Must be very frustrating for the competitors. Yeah, the pace car pulls off. The race is back underway. And still everything to play for among the top contenders. Suzuki there with the blue armbanded Eric Gomez in the saddle, splashing through the Paul Ricard puddles on the Le Castellet circuit. And steadily making up ground is the other factory Suzuki, William Coste, who's done an absolutely splendid job in this French Honda team, the Honda France Elf team it's called. The RC45 has never missed a beat. It's been absolutely consistent. Other teams have struck problems. Kawasaki hit trouble, so too did Suzuki, and the Suzuki back up to third place now, 4 laps down on the race leaders. And on the same lap now, the Honda and the Castrol Suzuki in second place. Heavy and wet, and guess what? Out comes the pace car once again. Pace car out on the track, brought out by the torrential rain. It's raining harder than ever out there on the track. It's supposed to be sunny in the south of France, but storms all weekend have caused havoc, and that's been the story of the 1996 Bol d'Or. And the number 15 Suzuki in the pits. That's the bike that's lying in second position. Of that, but problems for the Suzuki. Oh, a bit of subtle mechanicking going on there. Well, maybe there has been a crash then in that. Remember, the Suzuki struck trouble when it had suspension problems during the evening. Well, this now is going to be earlier stoppage. There were 50 people still running, and the official word at the 21-hour mark was that there were 48 of those still in this race. And the two Suzukis now on the same lap, but and the factory Suzuki number 2 currently lying in fourth position, but virtually side by side with their rivals and teammates. And we're looking at Peter Goddard, the Australian, aboard that factory Suzuki. Who'd be a marshal, eh? You get to stand out in the rain all weekend, and your only reward is being allowed to wave the white flag every now and again. Well, it's surrender for everybody, I should think. 13 hours and 54 minutes. God, I think that might be a bit of a mistake now. I think it might be 23 hours and 54 minutes. Factory Suzuki in the pits. Just look at that, an absolute river is flowing off the track itself, admittedly, but conditions absolutely terrible there, and it can't be any fun for anybody to have to compete in those circumstances. So the rain lashing down. Honda lead from factory Suzuki and factory Suzuki. The reason that the number 15 bike was in the pits, the Suzuki of Terry Reimer, Doug Poland and Peter Goddard, and the Suzuki of Eric Gomez, Fred Crotat and Damon Buckmaster. But out front, it is the factory Honda, Alex Vieira, Christian Lavier and William Coste that leads. The safety car is still out, as you can see. There's a lot of talk, as I said, that this race may well be red flagged, and they might call it a day. They keep getting updates from the Weather Bureau to see the world of wheels. The Bol d'Or was being brought to a premature halt quite a bit early by the clerk of the course, who decided that the conditions were just too dangerous to enable the competitors to continue on until 3 o'clock. So the Bol d'Or was brought to a premature end once again. It happened back in 1988. And you can see how pleased the competitors are that that decision has been taken. They probably wondered why it wasn't taken a bit sooner, but it can't have been much fun for them in the certainly in the late stages of this. Should be brought to the proceedings. Smile, Paul Ricard circuit to their credit, and happy scenes in the Honda camp of the official factory Honda squad. Home conditions were so bad, but nevertheless there was still a was the right, and there we go. Look at that. Some people are determined to have their fun no matter what the weather, splashing their way across the track to acclaim their heroes on the podium. Alex Vieira, Christian Lavier and William Cost on the Honda in 5th position, and that's the way it ended up at the flag. And when the Bol d'Or was brought to its premature conclusion, Terry Reimer leading out the Suzuki squad. Reimer, Poland and Goddard are virtually throughout the race, and join us later on this evening for the Bol d'Or highlights.